welcome to Anything is Possible. Today I'm going to show you how to build a woodshed. It's not very hard, takes a few materials and a little bit of planning and some hard work, but not that hard, and I'm sure you can do it. I'll walk you through the whole process. It's something that I've kind of wanted to do for a while. Last year I had the street tree guys take out 3 big maple trees in my front yard that had been chopped off because they were right under the power lines and they were losing branches because there was rot down in the trees. So I have a lot of maple firewood now. Last year I just put it all in big heaps in the front yard with tarps, and it looks not very good. Plus, there's a lot of water that runs off the hillside across the street from me, and it seeps down underneath the wood and it gets damp anyway. So I want to get this stuff up off the ground. So here's a little tour of the job site. I'm going to build it with pallets that I've gathered for the base. Stored wood in this area, they say 30 feet from the house, so that puts it, I'm going to put it over here. This is where I started stacking it and it fell over, so that was not a good plan. A lot of dead weeds I have to weed whack first and probably put some kind of barrier down so they don't come up through the pallets when I put them down. But so far I've collected 5. I want to try and make it fairly attractive because it is in the front yard, but also kind of inconspicuous. I haven't decided what kind of roofing, but it's just going to be sort of a basic lean-to with a little roof so I can stand underneath the little overhang while I'm loading up wood, and then I have a little cart and I can just wheel it. They have a little pathway here that goes over to my front door. Well, I got these concrete piers. We're hanging out way out in the back part of my yard, and so I got them hauled up here, and I am sweating like a pig. It started out so cold this morning and foggy, and I thought, oh good, it'll be a great day to work on this. And man, it has really gotten pretty hot. So I'm gonna have to change clothes. But anyway, I wanted to go through a little bit more of my thought process, you know, because the fire regulations say 30 feet from the house. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get 30 feet from both my house and my neighbor's without getting into this patch of bamboo. It just puts sprouts up everywhere. So even though I put a barrier down, I'm afraid it's going to send shoots up underneath the wood pile. So I want to kind of keep it out in this area that doesn't affect probably right where the wood pile is. Oh man, I am not moving that wood again. So I'll just build it kind of close to that and then stack it in from there. But the deal is I've got 6 piers, and so it'll be 1 on each corner, and then that'll be 4, and then 2 more in the middle, and they're not all the same height. So I'll put the ones that are shorter uphill, and I still probably have to dig them in a little bit to make it level, but I want to try and keep it up off the ground as much as I can so I don't have to stoop over to pick the wood up. But the pallets now, my thinking on this is that I did one of these before at another house. You stack the wood so that it goes across, and then little bits and pieces of wood can fall through if it has to, but you know, if you have smaller branches or whatever, or wood that's not spaced the same, you don't have stuff falling through. Whereas if you stack it going crosswise, you know, sometimes the spacing of the pallets is that smaller sticks would fall through. And I have done a drawing I'm going to show you. I don't know how well it'll come out on the video, but I'll take you back and you can look at that. This is a top view of the woodshed. The pallets are 40 inches with the wood going lengthwise and 4 feet the other direction. So that actually works out really well. If I get 8-foot lengths of wood, that'll be 16 feet. Let's see if I can do this. 4 feet actually leaves 4 inches on either side of the pallet when it's set down here. These are where the slats will be going this direction. So this is the 40-inch length with the slats going this way. And then I do a pier and 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 a pier with a post. And then this is a side view. I want to have two layers. I'll have pallets at the second layer as well as the first. And what I did in the past was I had one section up here that I put some plywood along the sides, and I stacked kindling in this little area here, which is real easy to get to, and I can throw sticks in there whenever I find them. And then I put the bigger logs, you know, here and here and here and here. Although, now I'm thinking about it, maybe I could just make this all one section with the big, and just put a pallet here for the kindling, and put big logs all here and here and here, and forget about putting a pallet in here. I'll have to give that a little bit more thought. Anyway, the posts will be uneven lengths, and here is a side view of the shed. So the front is going to have a little overhang in the front where I can come in and stand here and load wood, protected from the snow or rain, whatever's happening. And this will be a 6-foot length, so I believe the roofing comes in 12-foot lengths. You want the corrugation going this direction so that it runs off through the grooves. So I would get 12-foot lengths and cut it in half. And I'm not sure. I'm going to have to decide what kind of roofing I want. Whether it'll be the poly. I kind of like the polycarbonate. It's expensive, but it's so nice to have it light. And I think it'll deter having Black Widow spider setup house in there. So anyway, I like to get, this will be 8-foot lengths of wood that I cut down for this, and then I'll put beams here and then cross beams the other way, and it'll support the roofing. And then of course when the pallets, you want to make it so the pallets can be removed off of this cross beams that it's resting on, because they may rot. I'm going to use pressure treated lumber for the rest of it. So you get the firewood in, and it's probably going to be full of termites to begin with, so I want to use pressure treated for that. But the pallets should be able to be removed if they rot out, and just get new pallets and put them back in there. So anyway, it's a good idea to do a little drawing ahead of time, get it clear in your mind exactly what it is you're doing, which obviously I'm not quite clear yet, but that's the plan, and I have to now figure out what the lumber is I need and go buy that and come back and start working. I went out and got all the lumber, everything that I needed, I think. Probably not. Cost about $310. And I didn't shop around. I just went to my local store because I had to put this on the top of my car, and I wanted just to go to the closest place. You could spend a lot of time running around, and the next town is a half hour away, and I just figured, what the heck, I'm just going to pay whatever I pay. I know they got good quality, and I like supporting my local store. So I've got the first beam just about level. I'll show you. So this is the first beam. The other one's just lying there right now. I haven't done anything with it, but so it's going to be supported with the 3 piers, and it is on a slope. So I get my level here, and I'm going to show you the bubble. It's still not quite in the center, but I'm going to go ahead and dig this top one out just a little bit more. And I got myself a chair out here so I can sit down when I need to. It's really important to stay hydrated. If you don't, you end up getting muscle cramps and getting fatigued, and getting dehydrated is not a trivial thing. And I add a few drops of magnesium, liquid magnesium, to my water, because that's one thing that most people are just really short on. Definitely have more sodium than we need mostly, but magnesium we're usually low on. And so I just add that, and I find that it really helps not getting muscle cramps and getting quite so fatigued, and it really quenches my thirst a whole lot better than plain water. Sometimes I can drink water, and I'm just still thirsty. And if I add some magnesium, I can drink, usually I drink about a bottle of water when I've been working hard. And by the end of that, I feel pretty much quenched. Really makes a huge difference. Day 1, I got the foundation done. There's 6 piers, 3 on each side, and I'm using these metal connectors. I put one that attaches it to the pier with the wood foundation, and then I have another one on top that will hold the post. And then underneath, these are the pallets, I put cross beams, also connected with metal connectors. So there's, on the bottom, there's 3 pallets. They rest on the crossbars. And I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crossbars on the bottom. And then underneath, as a weed barrier, I put a double layer of 4mm black plastic, which is you buy as a vapor barrier you can put under your house. I'm going to weight it down some with rocks, but I actually attached it so it's screwed through onto the piers and it won't blow out. I'll put a few rocks and stuff underneath there also. But that was what I got done. It took a couple hours doing all the sawing. And one thing I wanted to make absolutely sure, when you're working with pressure treated lumber, it's highly toxic. It's impregnated with pesticides to keep termites from eating it. So when you're handling it, wear gloves. When you're sawing it, wear a mask and safety glasses. Make sure you don't get any shards in your eye and you don't breathe this stuff It's really, really toxic, and you don't want to be getting any of that, splinters of it in your hand, any of it in your lungs, anything. And I'm building the whole thing out of pressure treated, except for the pallets, of course. Now, obviously, the pallets are very easy to lift up and replace. So, like I said, if they get rotted out over time, it'd be really easy to lift these out, put some new pallets in. But the rest of the structure should be really good. And in fact, if somebody were to move in here in the future and not want to use it as a woodshed, it'd be really simple to take the pallets out and convert it into a little greenhouse, or you know, anything that you might want to use a little structure like this for. Anyway, I'm going to get to work now, put the posts up and the cross beams, and see how far I get today. I've got the posts up and the cross beams, at least the side rails. I'm going to put some more cross beams in the middle just to make it sturdier. Screwed in the posts down here with the ties, the metal ties. And the way that you put the posts in, if you're all alone and have nobody to hold it for you, get a couple of old boards. You can use 2 or 3 to hold it in different directions. And you get one of these levels. It just straps around with this elastic hooks on here. Put it kind of up near the top so it gets good representation of the angle. And then it gives you 2 different directions, so you make sure that your bubbles are level, and that makes sure your post is level. So now, just to show you, the front posts are 3 inches longer than the back posts. So the front ones are 6.5 feet tall, and it's a good, 8 inches off the ground. So even somebody very tall isn't going to bump their head. And the roof will then angle just slightly down. It doesn't take much of an angle for water to run off. It doesn't have to be a real severe angle. So I just made it 3 inches lower in the back than in the front. I got the cross bracing on the back. I didn't get any on the sides. And what I did down here was actually, so it'll have even more, I was going to just screw it into the 4x4, and I decided I'll go ahead and cut an angle cut down there and an angle cut up here, and I screwed it in from the top and the side, and then I screwed here. No, put another screw there, and then a screw on either side. It's what they call toenail, down into the 4x4 beam. I'm back to working on this after a little break because we had a storm, but this is where we're at right now. And after giving it some thought, I really wish I hadn't built it quite like this. So if you use something like this, I thought about it afterwards, and what I want to do is put some kind of siding on the outside, and there's nothing to attach it to. So in the future, what I would have done would make these posts go all the way to the end. And I'm thinking maybe I will just move the verticals over. I wanted them right over the posts, you know, the piers. What I'm hoping I can do is find on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or something some 6-foot old fence boards, which will kind of have a nice rustic look to it. My local hardware store didn't have the roofing, and all they had was fiberglass, and I don't want fiberglass. It just does not last. I want metal. So I'll have to go up to the next town and look at the hardware stores there and see what they've got. And then I can finish up putting the crossbars on the roof ready for the roofing panels. And then all we have is the siding and the roof, so we're pretty well done. Well, it's the middle of winter. It's January, and I thought I better do a final walk around and show you the woodshed, how it finally ended up. I didn't ever really finish that filming. The woodshed was pretty well full. I didn't actually get all the wood stacked, mostly due to time, but it will hold a lot of wood. And so as you can see, it's got quite a lot of wood. I didn't actually have very much kindling, so I'm not sure about that concept. I may remove that pallet. Right now what I did was I stacked some wood that's too long for my firebox, and it needs to be cut down, but it's kind of a waste of space. But this is what it looks like on the outside. You know, it was interesting looking on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace and everything for used fence boards are really pricey. I guess people use them for craft projects now, so I just went and got some brand new ones, and they will age and look much better with time. I had to move the bracing just a little bit, and I did end up moving the posts here out to the very end, and fastened the fencing to here, and fastened this fencing here, and then on the inside to the cross beam I tucked down inside. Just to give you a sample look. And then I don't think I can get up high enough to show you the roof, but I actually had to order this roofing. In retrospect, just plain roofing would have been fine, but I wanted green for aesthetic reasons. And just also, it did snow a fair amount, and although in the rain it sheds the water just fine. I think in the future, if I were to do this over, I would raise the angle of the roof so that it will slide off easier. It will accumulate up there if we get significant snow. But overall, I think it worked out really well. I like the fact that it aerates underneath really well, so whatever wood is left, it will stay nice and dry. Oh, and one other thing is the wood over on this end, for some reason, we don't get much wind here, but this end gets kind of wet. So I think I'm going to get some transparent plastic sheeting and staple it up on this end to keep this wood dry. All the other wood stays really quite dry. For some reason that one end is doesn't stay dry. But this is the final project. So let me know if you have any questions. So I hope that helped you get some ideas on building a woodshed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I have a lot more things planned, things I'm working on right now and filming as I go. So hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be seeing you later.